Ladies and gentlemen, I bring forth to you the one and only Jeffrey Descovich, ladies and gentlemen.
My name is Jeff Descovich, a name well known here in Peekskill. I grew up here in Peekskill. As people know, I spent 16 years in prison on a murder and rape, which I did not commit, caused in large part based upon a coerced false confession obtained from the Peekskill Police Department right here. I did 16 years from age 17 to 32, and then DNA demonstrated my innocence, and the actual perpetrator was caught, and I was released on actual innocence grounds. I graduated law school last May. And I can't forget the people I metaphorically left behind. I have to tell you that when it comes to a coerced false confession, when it comes to police brutality, when it comes to unjustifiable deadly police force, when it comes to police using unreliable identification procedures, when it comes to withholding evidence of innocence, it all has that commonality of police misconduct. I'm with a coalition group called It Can Happen to You. We struggled for 8 years and we were able to pass some changes in the law in Albany. We passed the Oversight Board for Prosecutors, the Commission on Prosecutor Conduct. We helped pass changes in discovery, sharing of information between the prosecution and the defense. Speaking of that commissioner, Senator Harkin, please take our words back to the legislature. We need the Commission on Prosecutor Conduct to be repassed. We need oversight of law enforcement. Prosecutors, district attorneys are part of that. I want to share very briefly some tactics that we can all do. Whether it's learning more about the issues, whether it's sharing the information, joining as a volunteer in nonprofit entities, volunteering some of your time, donating a little bit of your means, signing a petition, contacting your elected official, giving memorandums of support, registering people to vote, making sure you're registered, voting yourself, running for office. When people engage in rioting, in vandalism, in violence, the criticality of the change necessary in criminal justice reform, it gets wiped out. That message gets lost, and it's not about the original issues anymore. It's too easy for the conversation to get shifted. That's why I'm so happy that here in Peekskill, that has not been what's happened. My message to law enforcement, and I've been blessed twice a year for the last 6 years to be brought into police academies and speak about my story and share some best practices so that misconduct doesn't happen, so that other false arrests that lead to wrongful convictions don't happen. My message to law enforcement is this. To be a police officer is a very dangerous job. It's a very courageous job. It's an extremely necessary job. I understand that when you go to work, you never know if you're coming back. That's all true. And when a police officer is beat up, when a police officer is killed, that's horrendous. You see the police out in large force, lots of people, and that's exactly as it should be. That's horrendous. That's the worst possible thing. But where is all of that when it's police brutality? Where's all of that when a civilian is victimized by unjustifiable deadly police force? Because as long as one thing is important and the other one is not, there's going to be that divide that we see going on here. And so my message to all law enforcement, especially those that are here, the honest police officers, turn on the ones who are dirty in your profession. Turn on them. Blow the whistle. Speak up. Speak out. Everybody here, vote! 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 Who's in office matters. Speaking of who's in office matters, I want to ask another person to speak who's running for district attorney. A former prosecutor of 16 and a half years is concerned about criminal justice reform, and she would like to speak on that as a member of law enforcement. Mimi Rocah, please come up and speak.
Thank you. And you guys, I want to tell you something. Jeff was my student at Pace Law School. I had the honor of teaching him. And he was a damn good student. I couldn't be prouder of him and the work that he's doing. You guys, I became a prosecutor 20 years ago because my mother was the victim. I became a prosecutor 20 years ago because my mother was the victim of a violent rape, and I wanted to help victims. And you know what? That includes people who are victims at the hands of the police. In fact, when police officers or prosecutors abuse the public trust and commit crimes, brutality, or corruption, they must be held to an even higher standard because they are there to serve us, you. So, my message to my partners in law enforcement has been and is now, if you're not part of the solution to this broken system, then you are not if you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. How do we get from this rally to real justice? We elect prosecutors, we hold district attorneys, police officers, police chiefs to standards to not take money, not take campaign donations from police unions. That's right. Prosecutors should not do that. Prosecutors must be transparent. They must pledge to pursue police corruption with the same vigor that they pursue any other case. That's the kind of change we need to move from a rally to real justice. So law enforcement, if you're listening, be part of the solution. If you're not acting, you're part of the problem. Thank you.
We're gonna hold you to that.
One more time, everybody. Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! God, it feels so good to hear everybody.